as we continue our Kentucky Derby Day coverage. It's my pleasure to welcome to Bourbon Blog Live the official artist of the Kentucky Derby this year for the Woodford Reserve bottle. This is the commemorative edition. It's artist Richard Sullivan. How's it going, Richard?
Hey, Tom. Nice to be here. Great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. And what a great looking bottle that you've painted this year. And also a fun fact with you and the world of sports, because the most famous 2 minutes in sports will be happening later today. You also used to be a left-handed pitcher for the Atlanta Braves.
Yes, that's correct. Many years ago. It feels like a lifetime ago at this point.
So you've always been around sports. You love painting sports. Tell us what, first of all, what you do there in Louisville and how this whole thing happened.
Yeah, so I'm from Louisville. I moved back here about 4 years ago to be in the space I am now. I'm in Portland, the Portland neighborhood of Louisville, which is like the oldest, historically oldest neighborhood in Louisville. So Woodford contacted me the summer of 2019, and ever since I've been back here, I've been painting equestrian scenes and thoroughbreds, and I feel like they are athletes in their own right, and
yes.
Jockeys and thoroughbreds are connected, and they're athletes. So I love painting the action on the field and the action on the track. So that's the last 5 years I've been painting thoroughbred racing, and I'm not my background is in baseball, so I'm not that well versed in the history of horse racing, but I do love the action and the momentum. And so that blew me away when Woodford contacted me. I didn't really know I was on their radar at that point, so it was definitely a highlight of the year. Last year was extremely busy, though. I think when they contacted me, I had another project. I had for 6 months I was in here painting. So
nice. It's a great looking scene of the Kentucky Derby, and again, if you can still find it, it's out now nationwide in liquor stores, fine spirit shops for Kentucky Derby 146. And the really interesting part about this is, which Chris Morris and I first talked about a few months back, Woodford Reserve Master Distiller, who we just spoke with a little bit earlier. It says it actually has the date of May 2nd, 2020, but we all know it didn't happen on May 2nd. It's happening today. So what's that feel like? I mean, to have painted this for your Woodford bottle, and this could be it probably is a collectible now.
Yeah, that
already a collectible.
When we were discussing the project in 2019, that was not, we didn't know this year was going to be like this. So
right.
I think 10 years from now, I'll be like, wow, that was a really, crazy year. Really glad that this bottle was a part of that year. And it's definitely going to be a collector's edition, and a part of, I think anything surrounding this year or produced this year, came out this year, is definitely going to be like a collector's item, because we've never experienced, in our lifetime, we've never experienced anything like this. So it's really special to be to have been a small part of that. I think this bottle is the Derby in Kentucky and in Louisville and in the nation is pretty special, and there's a lot of tradition around it. So just to be a small part of that, it's pretty special. Yeah.
It is very special. It's always something we look forward to, the Woodford Reserve bottle. Well, we look forward to Woodford no matter what. I'm having a little Woodford here as we chat, so I've already cracked a little bit of this one open, and we have the special bottle you painted there close at hand. And again, for everybody who's watching us, you're watching us live on bourbonblog.com/live. Be sure you bookmark that, follow us on all the channels you're watching on, and share this and like this as we celebrate Derby from home. I guess were you going to be there today at Kentucky Derby? I'm sure you were going to be there.
Yeah, I planned on the whole week being a part of, Chris Pointer, who's the PR director at Woodford.
Yeah,
plan on, we block out your whole week. This is in May, before
right
it happened. So I was expecting, mayhem this week, but I think, I think I was bummed out in April this year, but at this point, I'm like, well, things could be worse. So I'm excited to watch the Derby later today on TV. So yeah, I would obviously love to have been there and celebrate it, but this is the next best thing. So
Absolutely, and we will have more derbies to look forward to. And as we look at this, and as people have purchased this bottle, they're going to look back and always have that derby theme. What inspired this particular painting? This we see this painting. Was this something that was what was it that inspired?
Yeah, for me, as a former athlete, I love focusing on the action, like the moment of impact or the moment where everything's on the line.
Right.
Or, the horses are just racing down the track almost, and they've trained their whole lives for it, and the jockeys have trained their whole lives for this moment. So I think I wanted to focus on the horses and the movement and the kind of the action of that, and obviously having the spires in the background and getting the feel of the Derby. I think that was very important to everyone as well. So, but yeah, I think my intention and my goals when I paint athletes are to capture like the what they're going through, being kind of getting in their shoes and their heads a little bit.
Absolutely, and again, this bottle is out there. Be looking for it by artist Richard Sullivan there in Louisville, Kentucky. And what other kind of projects have you been working on? And have there been any projects that have been prompted or inspired during the last 6 months? Have there been any new things you've been working on?
Yeah, I think the main thing I've been working on is I have done a few horse paintings or equestrian paintings. I made a painting to the Coalition for the Homeless recently. They had a big bourbon mixer. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Yes.
The Whiskey Chicks and the Bourbon Brotherhood hosted it.
They do a great job. They're both of those scripts are great.
Yeah, so that was my first time doing that. I plugged in live and I was doing some live painting as they were doing the auction. So that was really fun. Last year I did a series of paintings for Topps Trading Cards. They released, I did my whole card set. It was called Momentum Rising. And that was right after this project happened in 2019. I had 20 more paintings to do. And then that on top of that, the SEC contacted me and wanted 14 paintings for their legends. They honor their football legends every year. So I did a poster for them. So last year was extremely busy. I think this year, a lot of things, some projects got canceled or mixed around because of this year. So it's kind of been a break from last year. So I'm not that worried about not being busy right now. So we'll see.
Right. Absolutely. And for everyone wanting to watch, it's richardsullivanillustration.com.
Yes.
Is your website. Wanting to see more of your work and where to find it, richardsullivanillustration.com. It'll be exciting to see what other kinds of projects come up for you and to follow your progress and all you're doing there in Louisville. I think it's very exciting. This time in general for artists, I mean, obviously this is really a time that I think we'll look back on and see was an inspiration to artists, but obviously it's also been it's challenging for anybody, for no matter what kind of, whether it's hospitality, whether it's art.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, what has this time done for art on the whole?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tom. I think at the beginning of this year, when this first in March and April, I was probably freaking out, just bummed out, and just because you have expectations for how a year is going to go, and then when they're completely sidetracked, I think your first reaction is fear. But then once you get through that, and there's an awakening period where you're well, okay, let's deal with this. Let's, this isn't that bad. Let's try and figure it out. So there was definitely I have had so much more time to think about my art and my future and my, I think, and enjoying friends and family a little bit more. And, I think, I don't know if you've been like this, but like my whole life, we've been racing to like, what's the next project? What's the next? I'm not really enjoying the moment as much as we could or should be. So I think this year's, allowed me to like enjoy the small moments that we have that aren't necessarily tied to like that big project or catching, that big thing that only lasts a long, short while. I think the one thing I've learned is like all of these big projects that I've worked on, like the high of that doesn't last that long. It's in baseball too. Like you can pitch a really great game or like have a really, hit a home run, but there's only a few days where you're like happy about that. And then it's time to move on. So it's interesting.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Richard. I think it's so important to appreciate the moment and in each event, each project, each experience as it comes, and certainly art does that in so many ways. It captures that experience, like the moments with the horses or whatever it might be with someone pitching in baseball, and it can be enjoyed for so many years to come. Places where people can see your art in Louisville, or any place where they are, there are places where they can view your art.
If most of my work is in Atlanta, or a lot of it is, if any Atlanta fans are out there, and we haven't happened to be able to go to a live stadium again, my work is in the Atlanta Braves new stadium, and I'm a officially licensed artist with Major League Baseball, so cool. I'm starting to sell my prints in stadium stores and gift shops and stuff like that. So you can, hopefully in the future, you can find my work there. And in Louisville, if people are in Louisville, I'd be happy, you can reach out to me, and happy to host them here in my studio and show them work here. But there were a few, galleries I was going to be in around Derby time, but most of that stuff has got canceled because of the year. So, I would say online right now, just reach out to me or go to my website if you want to. So.
Absolutely. And again, it's Richard Sullivan Illustration.com. And again, it's if you're just joining us, it is the Woodford Derby commemorative bottle. Always a collectible no matter what, but even more collectible this year, again, because of that date, the May 2nd, 2020, which we had some Derby celebrations from home then, but we're going to have even more later today. What are you most looking forward to watching the Derby today? What are you going to be?
I think just it will be interesting seeing the Derby with no fans, obviously. See how, maybe the horses will notice that, or I'm sure like the jockeys know that. And
right.
And I just watching baseball right now, I'm comparing it to like, trying to, as a player, if I was playing baseball right now and having no fans in the stadium, that would be so weird to me. And just kind of, because that's a lot of the energy and the, you get lifted up from all the energy of the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing like how the horses react to that. And if the time will be as good as other years, I'm not sure. So.
Right, there's a certain energy that we're going to see lost for most sports this year, and most all the games you played. I mean, I would imagine there weren't any, unless they were just practice. Probably all the games you played always had fans. I mean, you probably never experienced anything like this as an athlete, have you?
Most of them did. I do remember one game we were in Winston-Salem, and there was this new stadium being built, so we played in this college stadium, and there was hardly any fans. I could hear. When I was pitching, I could hear the announcer announcing that I was pitching. So that was the weird, the strangest thing because, when you're trying to get in the zone, and you can really block all the noise out once you're in the zone. But I do remember like the start of that game, I could hear the announcer. So that was a little strange.
That is wild. I can only imagine what it usually sounds like, because we're there every year. Bourbon blog is at Derby, covering Derby. But what for those few that are there tomorrow or today, what it will actually what it will sound like all weekend long. I bet it will really be something very on its own.
It's memorable for a different reason, but
yeah. Not quite as many mint juleps and Woodfords flowing as usual, but we hope everyone is enjoying one of those Old Forester mint juleps and a good pour of Woodford Reserve at home, wherever you are, staying safe, enjoying it. And we, again, appreciate it so much. Having you watch or join us, Richard, and also having everyone watch us interview you and talk about this great bottle. And this bottle is just a little bit bigger than the normal bottle. I think are you getting a whole liter here? I think it's a slightly bigger bottle, isn't it?
A liter, I believe.
So when you get this, you're also getting a whole liter, which is kind of
two of them, so you can keep one of them as a collector's item.
Yes. Drink one, keep one.
Drink one. And if you're in Louisville and want me to sign it, I'd be happy to.
Excellent, cool. That would be nice. I'll hang on to mine. I'll have you sign it when I see you for sure, Richard. And thank you for joining us here on Bourbon Blog Live as we celebrate Kentucky Derby Day. Speaking of Atlanta, we're going to be having actor Stephen Amell join us, formerly known as The Arrow on TV. Now he's doing a new TV show called Heels. It's a wrestling drama that they're filming right now in Atlanta. Wow. He's joining us at 2 p.m. Eastern here. And I interview him every year at Kentucky Derby on the red carpet. So stick around here. Come back to wherever you're watching at 2 p.m. Eastern. Watch that. And then later tonight, I'm doing the Cigar Saturday, as always, at 8 p.m. Eastern. Watch it, all that on bourbonblog.com live. And keep up the great work painting and with all of your illustration there, Richard. Keep up the really nice work.
Thank you so much, Tom. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You too. Whiskey can be good inspiration for painting too, right? Can you ever drink whiskey for painting?
After I paint, I can't. After, yeah.
It's a good reward. Cheers, my friend.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right.